Head of Research at Macquarie, Taiwan. Very happy to be hosting Phison's fourth quarter 22 earnings conference. So with that, let me turn it over to KS Hua, who's the CEO of Phison. KS will start with a presentation, and then we'll go to Q&A after that. So KS, over to you, and thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, and thanks to everyone. This we start today's our presentation, then we go to the Q&A. Okay, in the first page, we like to have some communication with our analysts and also the journalists and also our investor. In these few years, when reports saying the memory, actually memory, they cover a lot of memory, so making a lot of confusion. But what I like to try to redefinition, when talking memory, we in our mind is a DRAM, and talking about the boot is a NOR, but talking about NAND, we define this as so-called storage. So Phison, we are in the storage business. Okay, basically Phison now we cover more both mature products and also much advanced growing business. In mature products such as you can see the medical, industrial, and the a lot of high-end camera. The mature business actually helping Phison to create good gross margin. Of course, this business, we are not able to create a big growth in revenue, but helping us in our gross profit. But in the more advanced growing business such as the data center, automotive, gaming, which we need to keep injecting big money into our R&D development for our future technology. And means that with the heavy investment, we are capable to have a big growth in coming revenue, and potentially we try to get a more gross margin. So recently, Phison, we are capable to maintain our gross margin just because we have a lot of diversification on the mature, stable business. So later I will show to you. And this is a less R&D investment, but good profit. And on the left-hand side, we have a big investment and waiting for our next booming in our revenue and profit. This is our 22 Q4 breakdown in our revenue. In controller side, we still in the total revenue still above 30%. So this is good to us. Consumer business growing a little bit because traditional Q4 is a Christmas season. A lot of Christmas demand coming. Especially last year is the Christmas after the pandemic. So we got some good demand in the consumer business. In gaming business, in the last Q4 actually is very, very slow. I think due to the inflation impact. But since last almost end December, the PS5 demand suddenly improving. So recently our PCI Gen 4 high performance demand, which is a PS5 upgrade, we got multiple X of a demand. So this is helping Phison to digest our some inventory and try to get a little bit better margin, gross margin in our business. Excuse me, can you mute? Hello? Jeff? Okay. So, by the way, in our embedded ODM, seasonal, the PC business shut down, the smartphone suffer high inventory. So embedded ODM, we are declining. But we hope coming quarters, embedded ODM can help us to gain our revenue. So, Q4 last year, the revenue close to 12 billion. The gross profit 3.4 billion is the third highest in the same period. Okay, and the gross profit down YOY minus 27%. So due to the revenue drop 26%, so almost the same ratio. And they are summarized in ASIC by year 2022. We have 34% revenue coming from controller, and this is the highest in the Phison's record. So in last few years, our heavy R&D investment helping us to gain a lot of NAND companies, controllers, outsource business. This is helping us to gain the better gross margin and also helping Phison to get a share in the market. And in the controller, the growth YOY is 17%, and the PCIe mainly is a Gen 4, the growth is 15%. So both are record high. And module wise, 70% coming from module business, and the PCIe YOY is 9%. But unfortunately, last Q4 the PC business suddenly frozen. So we hopefully by this year we're able to have the other improvement again. So this is our revenue. You can see since the last Q3, revenue start dropping because of inflation and the China COVID lockdown. So revenue wise, we are lowest in the 2022, which is Q4. And gross margin wise, by last year Q4, we are 28%, which improved 4% from the last year Q3. Based on our study in the Q4, we still have to write down our inventory, and this in fact 5% of our gross margin. So just in case if the market is afraid, the write down, our margin can be 33%, but it is what it is. But even though write down 5%, we still keep 28% as our gross margin. And overall by 2022, the total write down impact our 2.8% of gross margin. So again, if flat, we return back 2.8 to 28, we are close to 31%, which is a history high in our business. So this is just to show you Phison's our diversify in our product line. Mainly we have a lot of auto, industrial, and gaming, helping Phison to gain much better gross margin. So business to help Phison is a much healthy right now. Okay, I think everyone more concerned about the profit. Okay, I have to explain here. By the Q4, on the book, the profit at the end EPS is 1.1, and why and what happened? Phison, we have an investment in China. Okay, we own 39% of the company in China, which they are suffer the China lockdown, China their delivery problem, pandemic, and also their overall weak demand. So they are suffer their operating loss and also the inventory write down. So we have to write down this, taking this loss close to the 3.9, almost 4 NT. Again, it is what it is. We cannot do anything, but this happened. And we wish the market turn to good. They are able to try to digest the inventory and return back the LCM write down, the write off back to our write down. Then we are able to take the some write off back by this year. So we don't count our investment company, we still have a EPS 5 NT, but after the suffer the loss on the book is a 1.1. Okay, this is our balance sheet highlight. I think you are more concerned is our inventory. Basically, by end of last year, inventory actually declining. We are managing actually quite good skill in our inventory. And after the big amount of inventory write-off, our total cost in our inventory is very competitive. So in the cash flow wise, actually our cash flow improved versus Q3 last year. So at this moment, Phison still manage a very good high portion of cash. This is helping us capable to support our supplier, and also we are also capable to getting much lower price from our supplier at this moment. So overall, in finance, we are still very healthy, and inventory we are still under our manage. So hopefully this year everything can go to positive. Then we can turn our inventory back to our cash. And the company, the debt value is NT is 196. Okay. Okay, back to the income statement here. If talking about gross profit, you can compare here Q3 and Q4 revenue declining 15%, but gross margin declining 3%. Actually, on the other hand, means our gross margin rate actually improving. Operating expense, we are keep, okay, but Phison, we are not laying off people. We are not cutting people. Actually, on the other hand, we keep increasing our R&D headcount. But due to the economy issue, right, the bonus write-off, we are cutting down a lot of bonus write-off. So overall, the OPEX by 4Q last year, little bit declining versus 3Q. Compared to the last 21 4Q, it's a 24% cut down. So employee number increasing, but we are managing well in our OPEX without lay off the people. Talking about the OP, actually OP Q4 improving than Q3. But again, unfortunately, we are taking the loss from our investment company in China, which we have to suffer total up to overall, including the foreign currency and the investment loss is 1 billion NT. Actually, this is quite painful to Phison. But again, it is what it is. This happened. We are trying to recover back from this situation. Okay, so gross margin wise, actually, they'll be surprised to me. After write off 5%, we still have a 28%. So means Phison's our business combination is very healthy. Okay, I'd like to also show you our TIF and non-TIF comparison. Basically, the gap different here is mainly the employee stock option, the cost of the option. So not much big difference. So the talking about percentage is like 0.5%, 0.6%. So this is no big impact. Okay. Then we back to our business highlight. Through a few press, you may award Phison. Now we are working with some NASA third party. We Phison, our enterprise SSD, already earned the NASA certification. And very soon or later, Phison's enterprise SSD is going to build, establish on the moon, start to have a test. If everything going well, 2025, our products will start to operate on the moon. So this is a big milestone of Phison to show our technology. If Phison drive can be good on the moon, then we don't need to argue how about on the earth. So we are trying to get the more data center business. This is to helping us as a proven of Phison technology and quality management. Phison's, this is our first Gen 4 Enterprise SSD. We got the award from Taiwan Excellence Award. So this is also helping us to gain a lot of spotlight from our customers. 2 months ago in the Las Vegas CES, Phison's customer MSI, we ODM our Gen 5 to them, which we got the hardware award best in show CES 2023. And this is today is the only Gen 5 products in the market. And also, this is a report from the Trade Town. We are working with one, okay, showing here is a Micron. Their new client SSD DRAM solution with the Phison controllers E21. What this Trade Town give 100 point, means full point of this drive. And the name, this is the best DRAM-less drive in the world with our Phison controllers with Micron 232-layer NAND flash. So hopefully second half, this drive will get a more PC OEM business, then helping Phison to get more our controller revenue. For Phison design win by Q4 in OEM, we put our, this is our highest PCIe Gen 4, higher performance drive into the OEM notebook. And also we are putting our Gen 3 with the FIPS to the rack notebook for military use. And this is a high margin business. For gaming, we're also putting our Gen 4 SSD built into the gaming laptops, which is a high-end product. Now it's going to MP. And we believe this will helping Phison to get a more this is not only a controller, but we are supplying the controller and the flash, all the component is a CKD. So revenue-wise, it's quite attractive. In the automotive, we are putting our Gen 3 BGA into the rear seat entertainment. Right now, the EV, especially in China, they are aggressively to put the entertainment system into their rear seat. And Phison, we got the many design win in China market. And we're also putting our enterprise SSD to few server customers and already qualified by tier 1. For industrial, we're putting our Gen 3 into data locking systems, work together with our industrial partner. And also we are startup product into their video surveillance systems. So I think most attractive to Phison is a gaming laptop and also the entertainment in their EV. And also Phison, we have a design service business. We are helping the game console key player to put our controller with our firmware modification of NAND. They are moving upgrade to the next NAND generation. So with Phison's controller firmware customization, we design service for them. And we also have a design service to our NAND supplier, the high-end Gen 4 enterprise SSD into the automotive, which asking for secure and safety. And sooner or later, we are going to have a samples to our customers and give to the tier 1 automakers for testing purpose. And in Japan, we get our pachinko platform customization business. And in the, I need to highlight here, the Android phone, actually, every Android phone from a different brand looks like it's the same products because not much differentiation. Recently, we are working with a few phone makers to customize Phison EMC and UFS features to help making the phone has a little bit different features, performance, to make sure they are able to show the phone different with the competitors, and then they can get something higher ASP from the competition. So we got award from one of the Android phone makers, the 2 years award to prove thanks to Phison as the best technology supporter to them. So we are talking to them. We have a 3 generation of a UFS controller working for them. Means we direct design win into the phone makers. Okay, the last. Some outlook here. I think we need to read carefully about what happened in this market. After the Chinese New Year, I stay a week in China, keep looking and checking, investigating what is going to happen. I can feel the China system makers, they are aggressively to launch, to develop, integrate their new products. They try to get more business, to get a better ASP. So we believe the demand momentum is there, but inflation these days still, making the demand slowly, but they are preparing. So we believe something is going to happen soon. And again, due to inflation, due to war, due to currently the bank, so the price of NAND is getting low. But for sure, one thing you can read from public, every NAND maker, including the biggest NAND supplier, start to suffer minus operating margin. Or someday I can say it, they may suffer minus gross margin in the NAND business. And I believe this is not going to sustain for a few more months because it's a negative cash flow in this business. So we also believe the capacity cut down from China fab, from Japan fab, from Singapore fab, from Korean fab is happening. And the last, our observation from the PC supply chain, from the smartphone supply chain, from IoT supply chain, we got the intelligent number that the inventory of a storage actually declining quite a big number, but they're still not willing to start to push for all to buy the storage products just because they think tomorrow can be potentially will be cheaper, so they are waiting. If they keep waiting, supplier getting big minus, and system side have a low inventory, and the season is coming. I mean the the summer season coming, the back to school season coming, Christmas season also coming. So when that happen, right, we believe they will create the shortage period in the market. So this is my view in our outlook. Okay, in the R&D side, you can see, for instance, our headcount actually keep increasing. By today, we already have a 3,000 R&D headcount. Some shareholders asking Phison to have a layoff to save the OPEX, but again, this is Asia. And Phison's, once we hire the engineers, we need to spend at least 2 years to train the engineer. We still, again, we have many projects still queuing, customers still pushing. We don't have enough skilled engineers to cover their projects. So we are not going to lay off, but we keep hiring the good talent to make sure when the next cycle back, Phison, we are capable to get most of the order and the share from the market. Okay, we'll collect some Q&A. Let me finish this Q&A, then we can back to online. Many shareholders, many investors asking, hey, when is the PCI Gen 5 is going to popular in the market? Somebody saying by this year Q4, but first of all, I don't think this is going to happen. Look to the CPU makers, they are now suffer the profit. Look to the PC makers, they are suffer. Look to everyone slow down their R&D investment. So we believe PCIe Gen 5 will push to next year second half or next year Q4 start to go to the market. Okay, means at least a 3/4 push out. But this may create a good window to Phison. Why? Look to today this market, the high-end PCIe Gen 4 SSD, the most high-end actually is a Samsung, WD. The rest looks like is Phison's group, Phison's customers. So if PCI Gen 5 push out for 3/4, the market will need a high-end products. Phison, we are the major players. And just few weeks ago, months ago, they have a report saying Samsung's SSD have some quality issues, some ARM issue. This is also the reason why Phison recently we got multiple X of a demand from our high-end Gen 4 business. So we believe Phison is going to benefit our Gen 4 business. On the other hand, Phison also to make sure we have a Gen 5 ready today for the client business. We also have a new, most advanced 7nm controller for Gen 5, which is designed into the PC Tier 1. And we are prepared, make sure ourselves ready by end 24, we are able to ship to the market, to take the share from the market. And about Phison's, our cash, again, the cash most important to Phison is to maintain our business. Today, Phison still zero debt from the bank. We all inventory all by cash, and we still hold a big portion of cash. So if market keep going down, I believe, of course, we will suffer, there's some inventory loss again, but our cash able to buy more and much cheaper NAND component. By the way, my NAND cost is much lower than the supplier cost because now they are in a big minus. If I'm correct, recently we buy a piece of NAND from my supplier, they are losing 2 pieces of NAND. So you can imagine how bloody in supplier side today. So we keep our cash mainly in the business development and also in R&D development. Then we are able to share some portion to our shareholders. So this morning, board members just approved by last year, last Q4, last second half, Phison's total earning is around 6+ NT. This time we decide to improve the dividend up to more than 55-60%. So number is relatively small, but the ratio we are increasing. Hopefully, sooner or later we are able to pay back more dividend to the shareholders by our good profit in the coming futures. Okay, this is more concern about Phison's inventory write-off. This is to show you, okay, the above the zero is a write-off, below is a write-down. So you can read since last year Q1, after the pandemic happened, market price turned down, moving slowly. Then we are writing off quarterly big amount number of here. Okay, so by end of last year, total write-off number is close to 11% of our inventory. 11%. Okay. By this year Q1, January is a write-off, but February already write down. Okay, means we have a reversal from our write-off. The reason is the price already touched bottom, and we are keep selling our component. Then we have a reversal from our write-off number. Overall, we expect the total, because by end of March we still buying some component. Actually not some, it's a big amount of component which is so cheap. So potentially we are going to write off some more number, but we are managing like close below 200 million NT. So overall we are writing off, but we still able to keep our gross margin. So this is more concern about Phison recently, about talking about the analyst report, this, that, but I prefer ignore what analyst saying. Look to our chart here. Phison's every time big growth, the big growth actually coming from a big cycle down. 2008, the bubble happened. By 2009, we have a big jump. 2010, because of the debt crisis, big jump. 2018, due to the oversupply in the 2D to 3D, we suffer. 2020, big jump. This year, 22, we suffer due to the COVID again. COVID recover, but we potentially believe sooner or later we may have a big jump, because we have cover more controller share, we cover more product lines, we cover every application from auto, medical, industrial, PC, gaming, IoT, data center, blah blah blah. Okay, and recently the name makers, I think sooner or later by Q1 you can read their report. It's so bloated. I don't believe this is going to sustain anymore. They need cash. So when markets happen bounce back, I believe Phison we are able to have the other big jump. Okay, this to show you when NAND insufficient happened. Phison at the past we are suffering the gross margin, but by Q4, the NAND is actually oversupply is like 13% according to the report. Phison we are maintaining the 28% gross margin. Actually, it's much healthy than before. So Q1 our gross margin still as good as a Q4. Okay, the only issue is revenue wise, because ASP going down that much in module. So we are working very hard in revenue. So we are still able to keep the gross margin because of business diversify. The other concern is about our China investment, which we suffered big loss in the Q4 last year. So on the book, Phison, the total value of Hongxin, which have around close to 3 billion NT. Okay, and hopefully their business will turn to good. Then Phison going to recognize the investment gain from them. Actually, Phison we gain when we decide to merge Hefei and the Shenzhen Hongxin. Phison gain the big amount from this entity. So hopefully sooner or later we are able to get more. ESG, in these few years we are working super hard on the ESG, and this is an index from the DJSI. Phison now we are in the 75 point, it's a middle high. So we are keep improving ourselves. So you can see from 2020 41, 63, last year 75. Hopefully this year we are able to get a high 70 or low 80. Okay, this is all the Q&A here, so we can back to the online.
Great, KS, thank you for that. It's very helpful. Before we open the Q&A to online participants, maybe I could ask a few questions first.
Yep.
So I guess one of the questions KS has been getting from investors, obviously since YMTC was added to the entity list is, prior to that, what was your business with them in terms of, controller sales and NAND purchases, and, what changed that, and how did that impact Phison?
Okay. After last December, Phison cannot ship anything to YMTC. Okay. But on the other hand, Phison helping YMTC enable a lot of smartphone and data center business with Phison controllers. Those already in the phones AVR. So on the other hand, the phone makers, they need to buy the same configuration, Phison controller, YMTC flash, right? I'm not able to sell the controller to them, but I'm able to sell control to third party. They can buy the NAND from YMTC and assembly the same configuration products to the phone makers. So on the other hand, actually Phison will benefit from this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for your China exposure outside of Hongxin, any other subsidiaries of that you still have in China that could either be positive or negative?
Actually, in China, we have two main subsidiaries. One is Hongxin, and the second one is doing some storage for their security products, which is encrypt product. But their size is too small. It's too small. So we suffer some loss, but the number relative to compared to the Hongxin is like Hongxin's a single digit. So we just ignore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about maybe start with PCI Gen 4. Obviously the initial start you had was with game consoles, and then working with potential PC OEMs, and then also for servers. So can you talk about that potential market for gaming? Is there more upside from where you are now? Obviously there's a lot of potential PC upside, but are we seeing PC adoption, PCI Express 4.0 already, or is that really still a kind of a next year story? And for then for PCI Gen 5.0, is that a server first or is that a PC first story?
Okay, talking about Gen 5, we believe the gaming desktop, high-end desktop is happening. We are now shipping the Gen 5 module for gaming desktop. But I think the big volume happens soon is a server, not PC. And for laptop, Gen 5, I believe will happen only by end of 2024 because of reason the cut down, the layoff, this, that. Okay. So back to the Gen 4, we believe this year, most of the laptop bundle the drive most likely Gen 4. But potentially, some PC makers still hold some inventory was a Gen 3 SSD, which the forecast that place will supply happen by end of 21. Imagine the market actually shut down by last year April to May timeframe after the Shanghai lockdown. So before that, most product was a Gen 3. Okay, so market they have a Gen 3 inventory, or I can say they have some high inventory in Gen 3 in controller, in module, but Gen 4 actually is a less inventory. And this year we get from the PC makers, the mainstream of the storage bundle into the laptop will be Gen 4 512 GB and Gen 4 1 TB. So this is good to us because Gen 4 512 1 TB in the market inventory is low. Yeah.
Okay. And when you talk about whether it's PC, whether it's desktop, notebook, or servers, is that all going to be found in your embedded ODM business, or is that going to be spread out into other areas? Or
right now we keep everything in the embedded ODM, and sooner or later when my enterprise SSD business growing, we will take out spin out from the embedded ODM. I mean, when the number can be over 5-10%, then that's meaningful to put this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, the last few years, we've seen a nice uptick in your controller as percent of sales. Can you talk about, ASPs and units in terms of, last year was most of the uptick from ASPs, or was that mostly from units?
ASP big growth actually was 2021 because of foundry tight. 2022 by second half, Phison already volunteered to cut down the price to customers. We don't care, actually the foundry packaging cost still high, but we volunteer to have a cost down to our customers because at that time we already can feel my NAND suppliers start to suffer from their gross margin. So as a long-term friendship, we are helping them to cost down we suffer a little bit margin, but this is to keep for long-term relationship. By this year, we believe ASP on controller is still difficult because demand is still very bad. But Phison, we are capable to earn much more profit from the modules. The reason is, in modules, right, the NAND price dropping already YOY more than 60%. So we are capable to gain some design win business, which the price dropping like 20%, but actually cost dropping 40%. So profit-wise, we are good. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. And a reminder to callers, you can put a question in the Q&A box that I can ask, and also, we'll also ask for raise hands, and you can ask directly as well. So, KS, I got a few questions here in the Q&A box. So, first one, as to bit growth, what's our thoughts for 2023 bit growth? Is 0 a target, or is that, what are you thinking for this year?
You talking about revenue growth or
Bit
what?
growth.
Big. Oh, big.
Phison bit growth shipments.
Yeah, I believe this year will be the big growth is a big improvement because the ASP of a NAND is so cheap. Okay, so you look to my January, February revenue. Actually, I rate my big growth little bit higher YOY, little bit higher, but revenue number so low because price already 60% down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Is there any chance that enterprise level revenue will exceed 10% of revenue next year?
Yes, definitely yes. And this is going to happen because in the coming few years, Phison big growth, our revenue growth have to come in from the enterprise and auto.
Okay. And are those revenues, is that all module, or does that include just some controllers as well?
Enterprise, we don't have a controller business because they have no controller customers. Controller customers is only the NAND makers, so it's all modules. Auto, we have a modules and the controller business.
Okay. Next question. So whether there will be a new product for the combination of UFS 4.0 and BGA SSD?
Yes, we are working UFS 4.0 with the 2 NAND makers and the 2 phone makers. Okay. The challenging of a UFS today is the demand in this year is still very small. We are concerning if we make it ready, still no business. So we are pushed out a little bit schedule. Now we are getting 4 project awards by our NAND and the phone makers. And for BGA SSD actually recently booming due to the EV entertainment demand. It's a 512 GB and 1 TB. And it looks like Phison is a key player in the BGA. So we are working hard with the EV makers in China.
Okay. Next question. Are there a lot of supply opportunities for first line CSPs?
This is a good question. Actually, first line CSP is not Phison's aiming customer this moment because what they are asking price is super low. So I think this is all the NAND makers business. But in the CSP customers, Phison, we are looking for controller design service potential business, and we have one ongoing.
Okay, great. All right, next question. So will the next generation of mainstream game consoles, 1 American and 2 Japanese, or will Phison be able to get design in all of those, or just keep the same 1 American and 1 Japanese that you have now?
Basically, American side, we already made many design wins, so we're working very hard, and we are working with them. It's a 3 group working, Korean supplier, American console customers, and we provide the full controller and turnkey business. Japanese is a quite, I'm not able to talk that much, but first of all, in upgrade market, we are taking the major share. For next generation business, the development, we are working hard, okay? We are working hard, but I don't believe this is going to happen soon. Based on the roadmap from them, this may happen only after 2 years. So we are working on that. Yeah.
Okay, the next question on automobile related. What's the expectation for contribution by 2025 in terms of revenue? Vehicle.
Okay, still hard to set because for the autonomous, I don't know, this is not only a technology concern, but also a lot of regulations. So, okay, let me try to summarize what happened in the automotive today. Today, traditionally the storage in the automotive is mainly for the maps of navigation and also the video recording. Okay, so they are consuming only like less than 100 gigabyte per car. So this is a so small business, but we occupy the big portion of an eMMC controller. Revenue is low, but share is high. Recently, again, I keep emphasize the EV try to put the entertainment into the auto, into the vehicle, which they're asking for 500 gigabyte or 1 terabyte, and this is higher ASP. We are working on that. If this happens, we can gain revenue growth and the gross profit. The last is autonomous, which they're asking terabyte, high-end, enterprise level, safety, drive, and Phison looks like is one of two designer in the world. But again, we don't know this when it's going to happen. But potentially by N24, customers start to ask Phison to ship the controllers. We got a forecast already. So that one, if happened, if we are capable to provide the terabyte drive, then you can imagine the drive is a few $100s. So we expect that is going to happen by 25.
Okay. And if I go down your list of revenues that, controller, embedded ODM, gaming, industrial, module, consumer retail, what grows faster than average this year? What grows slower than average this year for you?
Okay, let me go one by one here. Controller wise, I think we are stable. Recently we got a few more design win from the name makers. Potentially the biggest growth will coming from embedded ODM because we believe PC is going to recover. Oh, by the way, we got the tier 1 PC customers forecast increase in the CQ2, which never happened in the Q4. Q4 was a totally zero, but Q2 we already got the forecast up. And the smartphone looks like China is booming up. So big growth definitely coming from embedded ODM. Controller will be stable. Industrial will be stable. Gaming, I don't know yet. Recently, gaming was so strong, but I don't know able to sustain until end of this year.
All right. Any questions from the floor that want to raise hand? Well, can you see them raise hand? I don't see the raise hand button here. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and ask a question?
Hi, KS, it's Don. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, KS. Thank you for the presentation. I think I have maybe two questions. First one is regarding to your revenue contribution in fourth quarter. So controller is like 32%.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it looks like to be one of the highest sales contribution from controller within the quarter, right? Because I remember in previous quarters, most likely 20-something%. So is there anything related to our, redriver or, those non-controller IC business booming in fourth quarter?
Okay. Actually, Gen 5, the driver on the Gen 5 motherboard, Phison market share is the biggest in the world. But unfortunately, Gen 5 this year, as I mentioned, right, the market is so slow. The company keep cutting, the motherboard maker, they also suffer the gross margin, so slow down all the new products. But since last week, the driver forecast coming from the 3 motherboard in Taiwan suddenly increased 2-3x. Means the market slightly coming back. But the driver itself is a below $2 products. Then there's a small revenue. But meaningful to us is we're able to put the driver to the PC. But now we are trying to put our new driver into the server. Okay, we have our new driver coming back 2 weeks ago. Already put our driver on the some servers, AMD Intel platform Gen 5. If that happens, that driver can be between the $4 to $5, and they are going to use a 16 piece per driver, so per motherboard. So if that happens, will help us to create a lot of revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So may I ask how much sales contribution? Within the ASIC or controller business, what's the
still
breakdown
small
right now? It's like
okay.
90% controller or?
You mean the driver, the portion, right?
Yes.
No. Okay, I give you a number, okay? We are shipping like 2 million pieces in a quarter. 2 million pieces with $2 is just $4 million. Easily you can see almost nothing now.
Okay.
But if we put this into the server, then amount can be big. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. And second question is regarding to, the EPS has been pretty low in fourth quarter, right? So, I mean, it's almost back to 2008 level. And you have mentioned about gross margin may be relatively stable in the first quarter compared with fourth quarter last year. But how about the, non-op loss from the machine in China? Will we see a deteriorating EPS in the first quarter?
Okay. Last year, I mean, now is a totally different with the 2008. 2008, Phison only with the USB drive. So when market crash, we crash. But now we have so many diversified in their products. So look to here, right? This low earning is not caused by Phison operation. It's caused by our investment. And to be honest, I can't do that much.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe by Q1, Phison still suffer their inventory still. But I still no idea the amount because Phison, we are not managing Phison, we just as an investor. So we have to wait until their accountant to have a report. So we are keep monitoring them. But hopefully, their business is more simple. When the market fresh price pull up, then the loss will turn to the earned. So I hope this helping Phison potentially to return our loss in the last year Q4 and this year Q1.
Understood. So basically, maybe in the near term, in your view, maybe for the NAND cycle or the earnings momentum, maybe first quarter should be the lowest point. Is that a correct assumption?
In my view, yes, but I think better to call Samsung, ask Samsung whether they are going to keep cutting price or not. I totally don't know what happened there, but again, until end of this month, you can read from every supplier, every NAND makers who minus gross margin, single digit gross margin, big minus in their operating profit. Then the question is how long they are going can be sustained. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is coming from Jason from CLSA. Jason, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you for taking my questions. Hello, Ms. Pan. My first question is in terms of your gross margin in Q4. If we look at your gross margin in Q4, if we don't recognize your inventory write-off, it seems like your Q4 gross margin have the improvement compared with Q3. So I just wonder how to get such improvements during this NAND or module ASP downtrend.
Okay, this is tips. Okay, I don't know if I can tell you the secret. Okay, imagine Phison have so many diversified, right? That's just what I'm saying that we made a lot of design win into the systems. If a fresh price dropping 60%, I need to have inventory write-off. But on the other hand, the design win project, the customer is not much sensitive in the price. So we just lower like 5-10%. So on the other hand, actually we get more from the design win project, which can be industry, can be auto, can be IoT, can be telecom, can be medical. So Phison will cover most of those business, helping Phison to get the gross margin. So this is a bit different between Phison and Phison. Phison in China mainly is a consumer market. Phison today, like Phison 2008, consumer. But Phison today will cover everything. So if you're asking me, downtrend in the market, actually I'm more happy because when downtrend today, my cost in NAND is much lower from my manufacturers. So if talking about the modules price competition, we can be much competitive than the NAND makers. And we are able to get the more profit from those business. Okay?
Got it. So your design wins products or projects have a higher gross margin compared with
Yes.
maybe other product lines?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. And my second question is in terms of your applications. It seems like your consumer product lines or segment had a sequential improvement in Q4, but your industrial segment had a huge correction in Q4. Could you give us more color on this two kind of product lines or segments? Do we see any recovery from the consumer side, or it's just your design wins or design-ins project to sustain your growth momentum in Q4? And I also want to know the more details coming from your negative growth or correction in industrial segment. Thank you.
Okay, in last Q4 is a seasonal, so consumer market turned to good. But again, due to the inflation, last year, you imagine, right, a lot of corporate layoff, they suffer the high interest, they push out their demand. So that's why industrial, we are declining. But recently, what we get from the forecast from our design win customers, the demand gradually back. So if you ask me, potentially in the coming few months, which is a stronger, I can share with you will be embedded ODM because smartphone lower inventory in the storage, PC makers lower inventory, and sooner or later they need to get something. And consumer wise, I think usually Q1 is a slow season, Q2 little bit good, Q3, Q4 pick up. But this depends on the macro economy, okay? And inflation looks like from days ago, US market looks like under managed, under control. Hopefully, this helping in the second half this year, consumer market able to boom up, and we are able to benefit.
Got it. Thank you. And my last question is, can you give us your guidance for your operating expense, no matter the numbers or percentage? Thank you.
Operating expense, I think, okay, let me have a number here. You can see, okay, I think it's here. We increase the headcount, but because of P&L going down, we are not taking that much of bonus. So we believe operating expense will keep like flat in these 2 quarters.
I mean, it's a number or percentage?
No, I'm talking about number. Percentage is hard to say because revenue-wise is okay. I like to share with you when the days NAND suppliers saying that okay, no more, they don't want to take loss, no more, and the low inventory players they need to buy inventory. The world is suddenly changed in one night. So the number, I mean the percentage, I'm not able to tell you because I don't know yet. But number, I think we can keep the flat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And I have no more questions. Thank you.
Okay, great. The next question comes from Anthony Leung. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question, Anthony?
Hello. Thank you for taking my question. My first question is about the UFS business. Just say that you have some pipeline and for phone makers and also for the net makers. I want to know for the net makers. Recently, we have seen some like the smartphone, especially for the biggest the UFS net makers. Is there any chance to get the share in the phone size, the phone market? Yeah, I want to hear some view. And when do you expect this to happen if this is true? Thank you.
Okay, the phone today storage, they have a MCP and discrete. MCP only 3 suppliers, so we have to get the either one controller business. But looks like 2 Korean, they use all in-house. Okay, so potentially we can get the other one as a controller customers to put our controller into the MCP. And in discrete side, we are much easier because we can direct work with the phone makers. So that's why I'm saying that in discrete, we have NAND customers using our controller. We have 2. And on the other hand, we have 2 phone makers. We are working with them on controller.
Okay, got it. So for the phone maker side, is this just started for the R&D or design, or it is just the pipeline and we will see like the second half of this year to happen?
Actually, UFS 3.1 is happening now. It's happening now, but just slowly ramp up. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And my second question about the inventory write-off. You just say that the first quarter the margin will have some more write-off, and overall we will see continued inventory write-off. So will we see this total inventory write-off to kind of like shrink from fourth quarter? And just want to know that total including inventory write-off, the gross margin trend. Thank you.
Okay, based on this chart, okay, I'm just share with you. February is the reversal, is an inventory write down, no write off. Okay, so means inventory we gained. Okay, March because we keep buying more so cheap than from a supplier, so potentially inventory need to write off something, but the number I think will be a big declining, and potentially by Q2, the whole quarter's inventory is a writing down, means will turn to positive. It's a reversal. Yeah. So now I not much worry about the inventory write-off because the price is almost bottom. So when market just boom up, price up, then suddenly all the write-off we have to return back as a positive number.
Okay, got it. So we expect some inventory reversal in this from the second quarter onwards.
Hopefully, yeah. Because February this happened already. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I have no more questions. So back to Q.
So KS is Jeff again. So one more question for me. It sounds like you're very confident that NAND pressure at the bottom, which I certainly agree with. But why wouldn't you be more aggressive in buying inventory even?
I do.
Okay.
Not because I like to buy much. Every NAND supplier keep come to me. So while they offer them much of a aggressive price, and they are taking minus 60-70 gross margin, then why not?
Okay. All right, a couple more questions from the Q&A box here. So Phison invested in Hosting Global company a few years ago. Is there any IPO plan this year or in the near future?
Okay, let me clarify. Phison now we are just a pure investor. We are not getting any involved in the operation, in the decision. So that's why I don't know what happened internally. But I believe they have a plan to go to IPO, especially in the China market now. The government looking for more domestic designer, this, that. So I believe they have a plan, but I don't know when. Hopefully they can make it happen soon. Then Phison, we are able to take our investment back to help make more income from the investment.
Okay. All right, another question. So Micron, Western Digital, Kyosha, and other have delayed production expansion. Will it affect the progress of the development of the main controller?
Answer is yes. Actually, they are not just only delaying, they cut down the capex. So what I like to say, they may skip the 2xx level, but on my hand, right, with controller is ready. If they move from 2ax to 3ax, then Phison can use a current controller, optimize the firmware. So to me, development is non-stop. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The launch time of the new E27T is due to the announcement of SMI and Maxio new generation Gen 4 DRAM-less products and Maxio supply. How will Phison respond?
Okay. For the E27, this is a dedicated design for the two NAND makers. It's the highest performance with the full function on the DRAM-less controllers. Okay. And yes, we get the from SMI and Maxio. I not much worry. Maxio, we test their products. We found their PCI interface compliance have many issue in quality wise. Still long way to go. And for SMI, they have a products, but my question is by this year, the PC total amount by unit declining, means controller demand declining. Okay, but Phison we gain the design win from the NAND makers, from our partner Kingston and other our module customers. So controller potentially we make growth because more design win, but we able to get our gross profit from the module business, which, and by the way, the investment in the controller is so high, so expensive. Okay, so I don't worry about Maxio and I don't worry about SMI. Yeah.
Okay, I got one more question here in the box. So Korean NAND factory enters the main control supply chain opportunity. I'm not sure if that means, are you seeing more chance for you to gain share or get into the Korean NAND makers supply chain, or
Okay.
or either that or buy more NAND from them?
First of all, Korean NAND company, they are not going to sell controller for sure, right? So then my understanding is saying, is that Korean NAND is going to outsource? And answer is yes, because, okay, look to today's market. Every NAND maker lay off, cut down the bonus, cut down the salary. They want to lower down all the OPEX, all the expense, right? But they cannot miss the time to market projects. So definitely they have to outsource. And that's why for these 3 years, we're increasing engineers. And I'm not going to lay off engineers because we have so many inquiries for the NAND makers, not only Korean, but also China, also US and Japan. That's why we need to have a good amount of the good skill trained engineers. And the answer is yes. We are getting few projects from Korean NAND makers.
Okay, I have one more question and maybe give everyone last chance if they have prepared questions before we end. But so I guess, Silicon Motion agreed to be acquired by Max Linear at some point last year. Is that any impact on you, and whether or not that deal goes through? What's the impact of Phison either way?
I don't know whether this is going to happen. I still keep listening. They are waiting the Beijing antitrust decision, but rumor saying that Beijing almost agree. This is rumor, okay, not from me, from rumor. And if that happen, right, they are laying off people after Lunar New Year, and potentially based on experience history, and if a design house acquired by the other design house, most likely the activity will slow down in coming months. But again, Phison not lay off people. We are keep hiring people. We make ourselves much healthy, cover more the project. At the end, I think we are able to benefit from their acquisition.
And maybe another question for me. With a lot of tech companies laying off workers over the last 6 months, is it easier for you over the last several months to find, new people than it was obviously a year or so ago?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I slowed down the people hired, the engineer hiring since last year March, when the pandemic happened in the Shenzhen. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we slowed down. I keep more space for the coming, more talent with a, make it simple, much lower cost for the talent. So recently, yes, we got some good talent from the market.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any last questions? Okay, great. No, I think that's all the questions we have. KS, we'll turn it over to you. Any final comments before we end the call?
Okay. My comment is Q4. We're doing good. Unfortunately, earning not that good because of investment. I'm nothing to say, but we're working hard. And my observation, again, NAND supplier big suffer. NAND already big minus, and the inventory level in system side so low. So sooner or later, I don't know when. Maybe make a call to Samsung to ask when they are going to turn the market. But sooner or later, we are going to make ourselves much healthy. And again, last, we keep investing in R&D. Never stop, never slow down, never lay off. Okay?
Great. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.